is Dorothy with That's Scrapbooking, and this is the video for Project 4. This is a single page layout. Now that chart there that I was showing you, that is the how to put all the thin cuts. There's the thin cuts of the different colors of paper. There's also white in there and flamingo. And it's a little chart to show you how to put the flowers together. So you've got the shape up above, you've got the colors, and then you just kind of build each flower according to the chart. So this is the layout. So there's I believe eight daisies going all around. I cut a 9-inch circle of that real pretty ballerina design. And we're going to cover the outside edges of the circle with those really pretty daisies. So I cut some leaves from another thin cut that I've got that I'll have to check to see whether we still have it or not. It's probably discontinued. But if you have some small leaves, or if you even want to fussy cut some, you could totally do that. Instead of using a background paper of flamingo and cutting my white down by a 1/2 inch on both sides, I decided to take some flamingo shimmer trim and kind of use that as my outline of the white daisy. So just something, see, I've had this flamingo for a while because this is brand new. I've never used it, and I've been saying a lot in my videos, get your stash out and use your stash. So that's what I'm trying to follow my own encouragement here and use the stash that you have available. So having it sit around closed for a year or more seems to me to be just kind of ridiculous on my part. So maybe you're better at it than I am, but I have a tendency to collect and to save pretty things. So it might be like a pack rat, I don't know. So anyway, I am going ahead and covering all of the sides. The shimmer trim is about 3/8 of an inch, a little bit less than a 1/2 inch, but not much that you can tell. And I am making what is called a mitered cut, and unfortunately I'm doing it off the camera here, but I am going from the corners that are made by the overlapping strips. And of course I'm sticking everything to it. So I just kind of pull up the corners a little bit and then cut from the outside corner to the inside corner to make a 45-degree angle. And look at how nice that fits together. I love mitered cuts, which is why I do them rather than just overlapping. I just really love the way they look and the way they fit. It just gives me a lot of satisfaction to have the 45s just fit perfectly. So anyway, I'm going to do that to the next two. And I will tell you that I've kind of matched up the colors. I used the chart to match up the all of the thin cuts. So the thin cut comes with the bundle or the scrapbooking kit that I got. And I really love these thin cuts. Now you can use these like forever, because when is a daisy not a good thing to have? So I kind of matched them up to kind of shave some time off of, what could have been a very tedious video. And there's, you can see that one of the daisy cuts has openings on the center. And so you want to match those up. Now, it is not a totally symmetric thin cut, just so you know. So you have to, matching them up is a little bit more confusing than it may appear. But you just it's best to match them up. Now their suggestion is to use the little tiny, well, I have to clean off my poker tool because I'm poking glue so much that it's just coated in glue, hardened glue. So they suggest that you use the micro dots, glue dots, and just tack the corners in place. Now, I am not tacking all of the corners in place because that really would be it's just kind of tedious for me. So I am going to go ahead and then put some, it's best to use the larger glue dots for the inside of the flower. So then I kind of try to match up where the flowers, where the petals are matched together, and then rotate them just one petal, and you get a good coverage. So see, I lose patience. That's what happens when you don't match them up completely. You get not a perfectly overlapping, filling the whole thing with the petals. I tell you, those glue dots, I'm used to using Tombow, which is, forgives you for a little bit. The glue dots are non-forgiving. So I'm doing a better job of trying to match up. I realized that it really wasn't a good job I did. And so, is that any better? Not a whole lot better. I do better on some of these later ones. I don't strive to be perfect, but sometimes I can drive myself crazy. Okay, so this was pretty easy I had already kind of matched it up, and it didn't move too far from its matching. And so I'm going ahead and putting the glue dots down. One thing about, once you've got one little tiny glue dot down on the tip of the petal, then you're kind of, your hands are free. So here we go, just kind of catching maybe every other one or whatever to kind of hold the flower together. And then I add another large glue dot, put a center on, and I see I'm trying to, there we go. Now see how nice that looks when you match them up properly? You really fill in all of the gaps, and then if you just kind of hold it in place, then you've got, a well spaced out flower. Those glue dots. The tool, the poker tool, is a good one to use for moving the glue dots. That's not such a good matchup. When you lose patience, I think it was the end of the day when I was doing this. I must have been tired. So I'm going to do the same thing here. And this is good because I tell you what, I haven't used my glue dots in a really long time. And so this is, a perfect use for the glue dots. And, it's good that I kind of go through my even stash of adhesives to kind of, so I can get fresher ones. I don't know if it really makes a difference. These seem to be really sticky. But these are very old glue dots. And so I'm glad I'm getting to use them. There's my center. Look at how, that's a really pretty daisy, I think. So it's kind of, there we go. That's a good one too. So the original instructions do not show any leaves. And it showed like maybe the light side of the flamingo going around the edge of the paper. So the whole layout, although pretty, was really pale to me. And so I just wanted to add some contrast to it. So that's why I brought in the shimmer trim that has a darker edge. Plus it has all the, glitter. So, I mean, how can you can't ever do wrong with glitter, right? So the leaves are the same kind of thing. I'm trying to add some contrast and a little bit more interest to a very pale picture. Now this is both flamingo, so I'm using the dark side on the back and the lighter side on the front daisy. And then there's a ballerina going in the center. I have to tell you, I could really have done a better job of matching these flowers up. You want to be, when you're doing this, you don't want to be needing a nap. And you don't want to do it late at night. Whenever you're most productive, that's what I would say. When you're most productive, that's when you need to be matching these flowers together. Because they're really, see, they're matched. And then if you just turn like a half a petal, I don't know why sometimes I have patience and sometimes I don't. It's because I'm feeling bad about what I did on the previous flower. Okay, so there's my daisies. And they're so pretty. So I'm just going to kind of put them around and see, you know, what would be best to, you know, how they would stand out the best. You know, I don't want to put two of the same together. And it's a whole lot of pink. So probably need some real feminine kind of flower. I mean, pictures to put on this. I'm changing, there's a number of other things that I'm changing up. Now, I noticed that this particular layout gets 2 3x4s in it. And I decided to just have one 3x4, and I try out a 4x6 in the center, and it works just fine. So I decided to go ahead and use a 4x6 in the center there. So, and then they have an opening where they have like a little title, and part of the 3x4 picture comes out. So this is kind of what they have, is 2 3x4s. And it's not bad. And if they actually have you cut a flamingo background for those pictures, but I just decide to use the 4x6. And that way I can get, you know, a nice size picture in the middle of this. You know, I have done the, I'm using the thinner foam tape to pop up the daisies. I have done flowered wreaths around a circle before, several times through the years. And I was so glad to see that they did this. They came up with this layout for the daisy paper. I really love it, and I've made, you know, some single layouts that were just really precious. You know, when you have a photo, especially with the flowers, if it's a girl, you know, I hate to be, you know, I mean, guys, there are guys that like flowers too, but you know, I made a really sweet one of my niece, who it was a picture of her smelling flowers when she was like 3 years old. And so it just was just this wonderful layout. So I do love the circle flowers. Or it's sort of like a flowered wreath. Anyway, I love it, in case you didn't get that idea. So the 4x6 fits in there, and the flowers kind of overlap it, which is cool. And then you can put a 3x4 and kind of snug it up in there under the flowers, like that. So you have two pictures. And then, you know, the leaves that I cut, so some of the leaves I did on Cricut, I didn't end up using those. I pretty much used all of the thin cut leaves, and they just happened to be, you know, just the right size for the layout. And I think it just adds a little something to the layout, to have that. These are the greens that go with the daisy that came with the daisy bundle that I got. So I kind of like the smaller leaves. But, you know, I mean, all the leaves are kind of neat looking. Now, I see I didn't tell the truth. This one happens to be a cricket leaf. And so I have to, you know, put it together. Except it's, you know, you have to put it together the right way. So that's okay. I kind of like the smaller leaves. They just kind of tuck in there. So you don't need a lot of green showing. It doesn't take much of the green to go a long way. So I kind of like the dark as the vein and the lighter leaf on the outside. And I'm tucking it behind the circle. So it really, I think it just adds, yeah, I love contrast. So it's always nice to have a little contrast on things, I think. But if you want to just keep it pink, you can totally do that. You know, actually, this would be so pretty in all different colors of flowers. Well, you could make all different colors of flowers, or you could do a yellow daisy, yellow and white daisies. You know, you can do, you know, whatever. If you've got a real sweet picture that would be suitable for a floral wreath like this, pick out the colors and make colored flowers to go with your picture. You know, these could even be like asters, which are kind of a bluish purple. So just kind of up to you. Okay, so we've got this really wonderful title on the stamp set that comes with the Daisy Daisy packet. And it's Life is Beautiful. And I mean, you know, all the florals, life doesn't get much prettier than flowers, in my opinion. So I'm making that as the title, which is what they suggested. But there's also a title that says You're Amazing, and you could totally do that too. So they have the Life is Beautiful, and then they've got a little pink going underneath. That is like a little accent piece. So of course, I'm scooching that one picture up a little bit. Give some room to my title. So I am using a little bit of the daisy paper, and I don't want it to show out at the end, and so I'm going to tuck it under and kind of match up just to have a little something showing underneath the title. I don't want a whole lot showing, but just a little bit. So I kind of decide to put them together for one thing, and I'm matching up the ends. And then I'm putting the title on top of that. I'm trying to figure out what to do with what I've got here now. So I'm going to cut the two color pieces together so that they have a continuous flow. And then make a little banner cut on the title. That's how I'm doing that. Just trying to make it fit. So there we go. There's some white around the edges, so you can put dates around there or a little something to say, about whose picture is there. And so there's my layout. Now I didn't put any journaling, but you could just write it on the white cardstock. You could make some lines if you wanted to. I'm trying to make a fancy look here. But I like this layout. I love the flowers. I think the flowers are really beautiful. And I do like my shimmer trim, my flamingo shimmer trim going around the white cardstock. So I decided to kind of use one of those and kind of tuck it under. So there we go. I just used one of those die cuts, and I really like it. And then I went away and had dinner and watched some TV and came back, and I thought, well, you know, I have these other die cuts that I got the same time that I bought the this pack. And this is, wait, I'll say it in a second. It's the Little Things die cuts. And I thought, you know, butterflies would be really pretty on this layout. And then that daisy just fell out. So there's some titles on here, Shine Bright, and It's a Good Life, and It's the Little Things. And so I decided to use that little tiny black butterfly, that gorgeous black daisy, and the bigger butterfly, and just add a touch of black to this layout. And so I'm putting it down with my liquid Tombow, just in the, you know, along the body of the butterfly. And the little tiny guy, he's going to go on, those are so pretty. He's going on the flower, and then the daisy is going to go right there by the title. And I just think that added something, just really, talk about adding contrast. But I love those die cuts. So it's the Little Things die cuts. So there's my layout. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Hi, I'm Dorothy Smith. Thanks for watching my video, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel and learn along with me. Thanks. Bye-bye.